Hello, welcome back to Podcast vs. Player episode 88. I'm Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who is all for combining film franchises. It worked for Alien and Predator. Why wouldn't it work for Twilight and Blade? It's only bloody Dan.
I think it would work for Twilight and Blade. I think it'd be fantastic if you did a Twilight Blade.
I think it'd be the best Blade sequel and the best Twilight sequel.
Yeah, combined. Wow, that's how you do. That's how you do a crossover.
Twi-Blade.
I'm thinking more Blade Light. Yeah,
that sounds ace.
No, I'm calling that. I copyright that immediately for a film of my own. my own making. Blade Light. Yeah, it sounds great.
Sounds like a Twilight Blade Star Wars mashup.
No, it sounds like some sort of horrible anime game. Yeah, Blade Light. Did you know what? There probably already is one.
I guarantee there is. Check on Google Play.
Rule 34.
Oh no. How the fuck are you?
I'm good. I'm really good, actually. I'm pretty much over the sort of the colds and but I might get a bit sneezy. I've been a bit sneezy today, so apologies if sneezes fly upon from me.
I might get a bit sleepy or dopey or dark. That was a Seven Dwarfs joke.
That's a Disney joke there. Well done.
They are. This week's podcast is sponsored by Disney.
A 1940s Disney reference. There you go.
Would you like some news?
Yeah, lay it on, thick and fast.
Thick and fast. That's how we like it. Pop sensation Taylor Swift is getting
bored already. Move on.
Is getting her own video game.
Oh God! Oh God! It's even on topic. Oh.
Kim Kardashian, Hollywood developer Glue Mobile, announced that. And it will I can't even finish it.
You know, Glue, those ones that make like every fucking stupid mobile phone game ever.
They used to make quite good games.
No, they didn't.
Back in the day. They have announced they have reached a deal with the 26-year-old singer. Details are light at the moment, but Glue has said in a news release that this is a multi-year partnership with the artist. Glue will make a, quote, one-of-a-kind digital gaming experience.
Yeah, I bet your ass it'll be one of a kind.
We realise that Taylor and her global fanbase expect a new and highly differentiated mobile gaming experience, Glue chairman and CEO Niccolo De Masi said.
What, is this going to be like the most revolutionary mobile phone game that's ever been seen? Are you kidding me? It's going to be either Candy Crush or it's going to be that stupid Kim Kardashian game where you just go around and have to make friends with celebrities or whatever.
It's the same people that made that game.
It's going to be exactly that. Except it's not going to be Kim Kardashian, and I hate the fact that I know it. But it's not going to be Kim Kardashian. It's going to be whoever the fuck it is, Taylor Swift or whatever. And it's going to be chock full of your ever favourites microtransactions.
Obviously. Quote, Glue is equally committed to designing never-before-seen gameplay elements that utilise Taylor's unique creativity. Accordingly, we will spend the required development time to ensure this innovation is achieved.
I tell you what, if there is anything new and innovative about it, I will download it. If it's something that I've never seen before in a mobile phone game, I will download it and play it.
Yeah.
That's a promise. That's a damn promise. Hashtag kick fund.
2016, the year. So Taylor Swift's getting her own massively innovative and never before seen gameplay game thing.
Well done, Taylor Swift. Well done for getting in the mobile phone game app world. That's where all the big money is these days.
Also, Kanye West's game about his mother is now available.
Really?
Yeah.
Moving on.
We were right.
Yet again. About what this time?
I think it was the last podcast, we did some very early E3 predictions.
Ooh, okay.
Our more obvious choice, but it's a winner nonetheless, Dan picked Lego Star Wars.
Well, I said more of a Lego, I think more Lego in general.
What you actually said was, Dan, and I will edit the clip over this.
Okay. Well, like I say, I think Star Wars is going to be the go-to. I'll be fairly confident of some kind of Lego title being fucking Lego. Not Lego, definitely not Lego. Okay, well, if we're cutting it into bite-sized portions, then I definitely said there was going to be a new Lego Star Wars game.
You said a lot of times there's going to be a new Lego game, but you meant Star Wars.
I meant both. It's fine.
But I'm going to allow it.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to allow it.
Well, do you reckon then, if they're going to do a Force Awakens game, and there's also a new Lego TV show that's going to be coming along as well, do you think they'll go back and remaster the Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, or do all the 6 films and then throw Force Awakens in on top of it as well? Because I honestly wouldn't mind seeing the original trilogy. No, I would, because the original trilogy Lego ones, they didn't have dialogue. It was all just sort of... It was like the villagers in Minecraft. That's how they all talk.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'd quite like to see it, but, you know...
Yeah, but they'd also have to like completely remake the games because they were like tiny games compared to the new Lego games.
True, but I don't think that I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'd definitely rebuy it. I love a good Lego game for sure. I even started playing Lego Gotham Batman 2: Revenge of the Nerds or whatever it's called.
Oh, shit! What's that gaming website that has cheap games?
G2A.
G2A. They had a big sale at the weekend. There was loads of Lego games on sale.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think it's still going.
To be fair though, Steam do a bunch as well. Like Lord of the Rings
every fucking day.
I know, yeah, but I mean like specific Lego ones, like they have The Hobbit and all that sort of stuff.
Anyway, off topic. There's no Hobbit games. My long shot, as I called it, was Red Dead Redemption 2 or 3 if you include Red Dead Revolver, and it's been announced.
No, it's a remastered one for a limited time for PlayStation 4 only, I believe.
No, that's a completely different thing. That was the Red Dead Redemption Next Gen was put for Xbox One backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
That's completely different.
Oh, so is this what, like a Red Dead Revolver sequel?
No, Red Dead Redemption is the Revolver sequel.
Yeah, but I mean, I want like Red Dead Revolver 2. Like, I love the jewels and shit in that. It was amazing.
No, because it's Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption.
I know, yeah, but I want it to be like Red Dead Revolver 2, not Red Dead Redemption. Or Red Dead something that's a sequel to both of them.
It's Revolution, isn't it? Red Dead Revolution.
Revolution? God, are they just copying the fucking Matrix? Red Dead Reloaded. That would make sense, actually.
It does, actually. I'll allow that if they change.
Yeah.
Also, Watch Dogs 2 has been announced. Everything we said will be shown at E3 as well.
Yeah.
So, with the exception of Lego Star Wars, which you can see the trailer for now because it's available.
Yeah.
Dan and our... I wanted to think of a really funny name, so I'm not going to say it because I couldn't think of anything. But Dan and our friend Rick... I want like compadre or something cool and edgy.
That'll do. Amigo.
Bromigo.
There you go.
Yeah.
Trademark Dan. February 2016. Hashtag Kickfunder. Bromigos. The 3 Bromigos. That's amazing. I love that. There's a series.
There you go. There's a new animation.
Oh, that's it. We can do Fistful of Frags. All 3 of us. The Bromigos. That'd be amazing.
Bromigos.
Yeah, definitely.
I like it.
Anyway, sorry.
Dan and our Bromigo, Rick, they decided they want a new Battlefield game that went back to World War II. That's not happening, as far as we know. But there is indeed a new World War shooter heading our way. Battalion 1944, the newly announced World War II shooter for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC, has now successfully raised its £100,000 goal on Kickstarter. Battalion 44 runs on Unreal 4 and lets you fight in real-world places such as the Carentan, the Bastognage. I think that's possibly how you say it, I don't know. Some of the weapons include the Kar-98, the M1, the Garand and the Thompson. In short, Battalion 1944 is an infantry-based first-person shooter with an emphasis on raw skill, Bulkhead said. No grinding, no exosuits, just you and your skill as a player.
That sounds good.
And it looks pretty good. It does look pretty good graphics. Yeah, and that's out this year.
Cool.
So you've kind of got it. So that had nothing to do with our predictions, really.
No. It's just more sort of reasonable.
But
it'll be on a Battlefield.
It looks better than than Call of Duty. Then again, so does Splatoon. Anyway, our last bit of news, Dan. You've probably seen this already, as have everybody else, but I think it's pretty good. Thousands of iPhone 6 users have been left holding almost worthless phones because Apple's latest operating system permanently disables the handset if it detects that a repair has been carried out by a non-Apple technician. Relatively few people outside the tech world are aware of the so-called Error 53 problem, but if it happens to you, you'll know about it. And according to a specialist journalist, it will, quote, kill your iPhone. The issue appears to affect handsets where the home button has Touch ID fingerprint recognition built in, and that has been repaired by a, quote, non-official company or individual. It has also reportedly affected customers whose phone has been damaged, but have been able to carry on using it without the need for a repair. The problem only came to light when the latest version of Apple's iPhone software, iOS 9, is installed, and indeed the phone may have been working perfectly for weeks or months or even a year since a repair or being damaged. After installation, a growing number of people have watched in horror as their phone, which may have cost them £500 plus, is rendered useless. Any photos or other data held on the handset is lost and is irretrievable.
Holy shit.
And even better, Apple will not do anything about it.
Well, of course they want to unify everything. They want to bottleneck everything through the Apple brand. That's why they're not going to make standard bloody headphone jacks. Well, it's going to be a special Apple headphone thing that you can only buy their headphones to use in it. You can't just go and buy some cheap ones for £2 from anywhere, off eBay or whatever.
Oh, the lightning cable.
Well,
so
yeah, exactly.
You can't
even
use a standard USB. But freelance photographer and self-confessed Apple addict Antonio Olmos says this happened to him to his phone a few weeks ago after he upgraded his software. Olmos had previously had his handset repaired whilst on an assignment for The Guardian. I was in Balancas covering the refugee crisis in September when I dropped my phone. Because I desperately needed it for work, I got it fixed at a local shop. As there are no Apple stores in Macedonia, they repaired the screen and the home button and it worked perfectly. He says he thought no more about it until he was sent the standard notification by Apple inviting him to install the latest software. He accepted the upgrade, but within seconds the phone was displaying Error 53 and was indeed dead. He took the iPhone to an Apple store in London and the staff told him there was nothing they could do and his phone was now junk and he had to pay £270 for a replacement.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Wow. So screw you, Apple users, I guess. You've got to go to only official places to get it repaired, otherwise you obtain a brick free of charge.
Luckily, the law is on the people's side for a change, Dan. I cannot remember the name of the act because I have not written it down. However, Apple has been taken to court because a few years ago, car dealers basically said you had to have your car repaired. So if you had a Citroen, you had to go to Citroen. If you had a Vauxhall, you had to go to Vauxhall. And basically, the law says, don't be a dickhead.
You can go to Quick Fit and get £50 off. That's what people should be entitled to do.
Yeah, these people are trained and they are legally allowed to perform these repairs on your cars, on your phones, on your TVs, on everything.
Yeah.
Because they have a legal right to, and majority of people have worked and earned it. So basically, Apple are in the shit.
Well, it's the people who sort of like work in independent garages and stuff. You basically lose your entire client base because, and then not only that, but you say you've got a Citroen, you want to get it repaired. You can only go to a Citroen approved garage or dealership or whatever, but they can charge you whatever they want because they know that you can't go anywhere else. Yeah,
it's
how unfair is that?
Well, that's why they didn't get away with it.
I know, yeah, but I mean, no one should be able to get away with that.
No,
I mean, if you want to, you can sort of have people do a course or obtain a certificate which says that as far as you're concerned, as far as the company's concerned, you're qualified and not stupid enough to ruin anything, on their products or vehicles or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand why they'd say no. If you break your phone, you've got to come to us. You cannot go anywhere else. Otherwise, we will break your phone.
Well, essentially, like when they say if you because obviously Apple has a non-removable battery and everything, a lot of modders were taking the handsets apart and then replacing them with better batteries. But they turn around and say, as soon as you open it, you void it. PlayStation 4 came out, and they said, you see that glossy panel on the top? Slide that, it'll come off. There's your hard drive. As long as you put in a hard drive that fits, and it's a certain like millimeters wide and thick and stuff, do what you want.
Yeah,
stick a fucking 900 terabyte in there if you can afford one and make one, because they don't exist. But just do it.
Yeah.
Xbox, do it, void.
Wait, I'm sorry, but the only way that you can get away with this kind of business model is if you're a drug dealer.
Yeah.
So
you go to anyone else, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, do you know what? Fair enough.
Sorry, take my money, give me some drugs.
Nowhere else does that apply. That's complete bullshit.
They basically just pandered on the fact that we are one of the largest mobile phone, computers and softwares and everything business.
Well, they're like
enterprise in the world. But
they're like the highest earning company in the world, though. That's how they get you, with stuff like this.
Yeah. Well, Apple, the insurance. A lot of people, when a new iPhone it's always going to be rumoured to be announced on November 29th. Ooh, what's the new iPhone going to be like? And then, honestly, you'll go on like Engadget and fucking Gizmodo and stuff, like all these tech blogs, and they'll do a list of, this is what we think the new iPhone's going to have, and it's like waterproof, dust resistant, drop proof, shock proof, fucking paedophile proof. You know, it's fucking all these stupid things. Apple makes so much money off Apple insurance. They're never going to make their phones indestructible.
Yeah. As soon as you do,
stupid.
Then people won't break them, and when people don't break them, they don't ask for new ones.
You think, right? Because it's don't quote me, but I think it's about £200 for the insurance if you pay it all in one go. But it covers you for everything, so you get a brand new handset, blah blah blah. But the amount of people that go in and go, I'll have the new iPhone 6, please. There's £700, and there's £200 for my insurance, and then another 50,000 people come in and do that. It's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
So why? I wouldn't. If I was running it, I'd be like, make that phone as weak as fucking possible. Make it out of fucking glass.
It's like if you just swipe too hard right on Tinder. That's it. There's your phone broken, and you've got to go and pay whatever the excess is to get a new one.
You've got to go to Apple.
Yeah, you have to go. But what about if you are on holiday, or you're on a submarine, and you go, well, I've got to wait 2 years before I can actually get to land, let alone a fucking Apple shop.
That was a pretty bad example. I don't think many submarines have unofficial Apple repair people.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean that you'd have to put up with it until you got to some part of the world where you could get out and they have technology, get it fixed, and then it goes, nope, broke.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to just sell a product that you can then choose not to work anymore.
They can basically sit there and go, right, new iPhone's been out, say about a year. Give them another couple of months, then break it.
Yeah, then they'll have to come back and get another one.
Yeah,
it's like that bloody South Park episode. You know the human Sentai pad.
Human Sentai pad.
Yeah, it's like when you don't read the terms and conditions. This is the sort of stuff they'll do to you. They'll just say, "Oh well, we can do whatever we want. You signed, you clicked accept."
It's probably in there, and that's probably how they'll get away with it.
Yeah, but it's like it's a 50,000 word terms and condition document, and you just scroll down, click accept, and they get, well, you said you accepted it, therefore pay us an extra 250 quid for a new phone, please. Thanks very much.
Well, that's what they're looking at it as.
Here's the same piece of shit weak phone that you've already got.
Yeah, don't forget though, if you break it,
you have to come back and do this all over again. And then by the time you do that, we'll have a new one, so you might as well just buy the new one.
Yeah.
God, they've got such a good business model. I hate them, they're evil, but my God, they know how to make money.
I still can't get my head around it.
Well, that's the thing is, though, if you're, slightly clued up on the subject, you'd go, well, you know what, fair enough, you make a lot of money that way. Yeah. You're not going to get my fucking money, though. If you think I'm going to pay for anything that you people sell, you have got another thing coming. I was
with someone a few months ago. Someone I don't particularly like, so I won't mention names. Damn.
Zoe?
No, she was there. Anyway, and just to be polite, I pandered the conversation, even though I had been quite ignorant up until the point. But we was talking about computers, and the individual in question was on about, yeah, I've got like a $9,000 computer that I've built. Like I can get parts for pretty cheap, and I build them for the people, blah blah blah. It's like, I'm gonna do that for a fucking job then. If you make this much money off it, why don't you do it for a job?
Yeah.
Instead of earning like £50 a week, being a fucking arsehole. Anyway, that's a different story. And then it's all about how much into computers he is and stuff, and on about this, that, and the other. And he was going on about graphic cards and stuff, and I was like, yeah, but from what you've just said, your CPU's fucking abysmal. So you're literally just everything's powering off your fucking GPU. He's like, yeah, it's fine. He's like, I've got a fucking something, whatever he said. I was like, it sounds like a bag of shit, to be honest. And then going on about how much into computers he is and stuff, and he loves tinkering with them, and he loves building them, and this and the other. And then he pulled his phone out, and he had a fucking iPhone. And I was like, if you're that much into tinkering with stuff, why have you got an iPhone? He's like, because it's like the best phone out. I was like, I think you find it's not, sir. And this conversation is over.
Yeah, it's the best iPhone out.
It's probably not, though. It's probably fucking brick now if he's fixed it himself.
I'd love that.
I would, to be fair.
That'd be so... Oh, he's just like, oh, god damn it, stupid Apple. Oh, I'll have to buy another one. Not a better one, another one.
Just another one.
Yeah. Same again, please.
Zoe had her upgrade last week. She got a Nexus. It's really fucking cool. But we was looking at a different phone. I can't remember what it was now. And she didn't like it because it looked like an iPhone. No, I don't want it.
Well, that's sort of like the opposite of the brand image they're going for. You know, people want the sort of knockoff iPhones because they just look like iPhones. So when you get to the point where you don't want something just because it looks slightly like an iPhone, that's when you know you're on the good side. You know,
she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gone on far too long about shitty Apple. By the way, this week's podcast is also sponsored by Apple and Samsung. The big story. No, not yet. I've got things to talk about. You never ask me. You just plough on through. Because we've gone on for like half an hour.
You've gone on. You started telling stories about people that you don't like.
About Twinder.
Shut up. So, 2 new trailers have dropped that need... Obviously, we can't really discuss them in too much detail because it will take too long. But we've seen the final Batman vs Superman trailer.
Yeah, it was really good. The main story...
No,
I'm joking.
I mean, I wish that this was the... They didn't do the last trailer, with the Doomsday reveal. Yeah. They shouldn't have done that at all. They should have dropped this one a couple of months ago and left it at that. It just said, that's what's coming. Because my fucking days, I've watched that intro with Alfred and Batman. God damn. I mean, that is the most Batman I've ever seen on any live action. Like, that is Batman.
Yeah.
And I've watched, not the rest of it, just that part, up until the point where he says, you're getting too old to die young. For a start, brilliant line. I love that line, that's amazing. And then I go back to the start, where he's saying, I'm reading 2 dozen contacts on the 3rd floor, I'll drop you off on the 2nd. And then he just absolutely leathers everyone in there. And I mean, this isn't sort of... Do you know what, right? Because of this, I'm now judging everything by this standard, right? I watched Arrow the other day, and they were all fighting and stuff. And because you can tell it's so... they just... they want the speed of the choreography, right?
Yeah.
They just sort of tap, 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 and then they're down on the floor. But it's just sort of like, if you're, that big and strong, like they're showing Ben Affleck is in this, he hits you once and you're out. Yeah. You are out for good. He that fucking last guy, he punches him so hard, his head goes through the floor. I mean, that motherfucker's not walking again.
Well, like the guy when he's... when he puts the guy's head through the box, he literally stops the guy dead with one hand.
Yeah. He just flips him over and then pow. But that's it. Like, if you're, taking on 24 guys in one go, like, which, in Arrow and stuff, they do that. They're taking on big groups of people in one go. You don't want to stand there just sort of pissing about with each one, waiting for them to take their turn. Every single person there is ready to shoot you.
Yeah.
So why have they not shot you already whilst you're doing your 62 combo on mercenary number 4? But with this, you need to take everyone out as quickly as possible, and that means knocking each one out with one punch.
Yeah.
Or throwing them into a wall.
But
because they're not getting back up.
It's so believable. That's this ridiculous thing.
For that. But the fact is, though, from an intimidation point of view, you can have your Christian Bale sitting around going, "You swear to me!" But if I was in a room with 23 other guys just thinking, he's here and he's going to fuck us up, and then he comes through the floor and he starts throwing people across the room so hard that they smash the wall open, I'm like, fuck this guy, I am out of here. You would be terrified of this guy because you wouldn't think he was a person. And, as far as Batman intimidation goes, that's what you want. That's the level of intimidation you want. You want to be able to just fly into a room and fuck people up.
Yeah. Have you ever seen? I can't remember what it's called. It's like Tales of Gotham City or something like that. I can't remember what it's called now. Anyway, it's an animated film, and it's a Japanese film, and it's basically a group of kids going, "Oh no, this is when I saw Batman," and they'll retale a story of when they saw Batman, but it's so over exaggerated. Like one of them, he is literally a big, massive fucking like Hulk bat.
Yeah,
and stuff, and then one of them is like a shadow monster and stuff. But that's how I always see Batman.
Yeah, he's born of legend sort of thing. So it's like no one's ever seen him, but the people who have seen him, they're sort of eating through straws.
Yeah,
and they don't want to talk about it because how would you talk if you were in that room and he just comes flying in and then he just takes out like 4 guys? Obviously, it's a film. I mean, come on. Yeah. But the way that it's shot is so fast paced, and the way it's edited in the trailer is brilliant. But it's so fast paced, you wouldn't have time to react, and you'd be thinking, "Oh my god, look, he's just beaten up that guy, and that guy," and then you get a punch in the face, and that's it, you're out.
Yeah.
Like you just wouldn't have time to sort of like. It's something that really bugs me about video games. It's like when someone gets shot. And then all of a sudden, everyone knows exactly where you are, and they all start shooting at you.
Yeah.
Like there's no time for reaction at all. Of just going, what the fuck? What? Like that, and that's the sort of thing that would happen in real life. So the fact is that it's sort of shock tactics of sort of bursting in not where they're expecting you to, and hitting them with so much force that they can't. They sort of reel back from it, just going, whoa, 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 what's going on? And by that time, you try and stab him in the back of the head, whilst he throws your mate through a wall, and then he just turns around and just punches you into the floor. I mean, he's not wearing his fucking armoured suit there. So what sort of damage is he going to do to people? He's going to be, fucking Theora from Man of Steel. Like, hitting people so hard that they fly backwards into other people.
That's why I like the end of the trailer, though. When he stops Superman's punch, and Superman's like, the fuck?
Yeah. So that trailer dropped. That was amazing. I loved that. I mean, we've gone on too long about Batman vs Superman. Pretty much every podcast going back years, right? But if this trailer is the last thing that we get from this film that's of good, that's actually good, then I'm happy with it. That sort of first 30-40 seconds, that's the film to me. That's what I expect from it. And if it's anything less than that, I'm going to kill myself.
I think I don't think it's going to quite retain the same standards for the whole.
No, it has to. It has to. I can't deal with it.
Life depends on it.
Yeah, it really does. But other than that, obviously, there is a brand new trailer which came out today, I believe.
Yes.
For Punish.
No, for Daredevil.
It is. I'm so excited at the moment. Oh man. But yeah, it's Daredevil season 2, the first of 2 trailers. This one focusing on Frank Castle and the Punisher story. The next one, we assume, is probably going to be about Elektra, as she shows up at the end of it. But this is going to be pretty much what we thought. It's going to be Frank Castle, his origin story, how he works into Daredevil having to take him out. But eventually, it's going to come to the sort of the realisation that we do the same thing, I just put people down for good. You don't.
Well, that's what he says in the trailer, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then, after what looks like Daredevil's got a massive beating from Castle.
Yeah.
I think the line is something like you're only one bad day away from becoming me.
That's, again, brilliant line.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely true. It's just like, all you need is that one moment that makes you snap, and then we're in the same business here. Yeah. We are racking up bodies between us.
Well, I can't think of it's just something complex where it's basically like a double-edged sword, like Batman and the Joker. Batman can't bring himself to his one rule: no killing. Like in like the Dark Knight Returns, he's got a lot more aggressive and he's paralysing people and breaking people's legs and stuff to make sure they don't do it again. But he's still not killing until he kills Joker. But anyway, but it's a case of a lot of people would look at it and go, "It's not murder, just kill him. he needs to be dead."
Well, it's the sort of the thing of, you know, if you come across someone who's a shoplifter, you know, obviously they're probably not worth breaking the neck for.
No.
But someone like the Joker, it's just like, the longer I leave you alive, the more people will die because of it.
Yeah.
So if I just kill you now, I'll save however many lives in the future. And that's why the Punisher sort of resonates with me, because he's so finite.
Yeah.
He's just like, if you're dead, you can't do it again.
Yeah.
Simple as. And that's, you know, when the, you know, sort of, you're dealing with murderers and rapists and drugs and all that sort of stuff, that you know, that's the sort of the resolution you want. It's just like, well, we can put you in prison, but you can carry on running your drug operation from prison, and then you'll be out and you'll be rich and you just crack back on again. Whereas if I kill you and all your mates, it's done. Yeah. I mean, I wish that Superman would just have a break and just go, fuck this, and just has the rest of the day just killing everyone. He just flies to prison, just breaks everyone's neck, and then flies back out again, you know, in a second.
Nobody even fucking knows.
Yeah, and it's just like, I've just saved myself about 8 years worth of work. Bloody hell. Why didn't I do this sooner? Come on, Lewis. But yeah, so 2 trailers that have come out fairly recently that have got me super excited. There is also a new X-Men Apocalypse trailer at the start of Deadpool, which we do see as well.
See, I didn't see that. I mean, this is going onto the main story, but
yeah.
I didn't get to see X-Men. I saw Batman.
Oh, I saw both.
Batman. We had one trailer.
Shit.
Batman. But we got.
It wasn't that. I didn't have that trailer though. It was one that I'd already seen.
Yeah, it was the other trailer.
Yeah.
But no, we got there. We got there nice and early. I managed to go to Starbucks, get my photo taken outside a chimichanga restaurant. Blah blah blah, and then we went up. It was like 20 to 9, and it started at 9, so that we'll go in now. And then they were still cleaning the fucking IMAX theatre. So like, fuck, and that went on for ages. So we didn't actually get in there till like about 9:05. So I think they just cut a trailer out because everyone I know saw 2 trailers.
Yeah, we had X-Men, and I don't think there was anything particularly new. It was just sort of showing the 4 Horsemen, and if anything, maybe a couple of seconds that was new stuff.
See, the last X-Men trailer that was released, where you see Psylocke cut through the car, that was actually pretty good. I haven't been impressed with Apocalypse so far, but I really like that trailer.
Well, this just goes to the testament that Psylocke's fucking cool, as I've always said.
But is she cool enough to carry a fucking entire film on her back?
Nope.
So we'll have to see on that one. Anyway. Deadpool, Dan.
Yes, Deadpool.
It was alright, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Right.
What's going up on the channel? I knew you were going to say that.
Obviously, Deadpool is out now in cinemas. Just a pre-warner. Probably a few spoilers ahead.
Probably,
and if you are a parent of a child or children...
Well, you'd have to be if you're a parent.
Shut up. If you have young people that you're in charge of and they want to go and see this new superhero film, don't let them. No matter what they say, it's not a kid's film.
Yeah, it's not. It's as much as you may think, oh, it's Marvel. It's, you know, all happy and, you know, raccoons and stuff. It's not.
No.
People get fucked up. People get fucked.
In the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Speaking of, amazing intro.
Right, I'm going to start this, right, by saying the one thing that I don't particularly like about it. And I think, the thing is, though, I think that this is kind of my own fault, though. So I think, although it's something I don't like, it's something that I've made... Yeah, no, there's no Punisher. That's it. 2 out of 10.
I didn't see his van.
No, it's the fact that pretty much everything that we saw in the trailers, that was pretty much all there was in the film.
No, there's loads.
There was exposition in between, but we saw the the sort of the transition period when he's with Ajax and Angel. We saw the bridge. We saw Colossus. We saw Negasonic Teenage Warhead. We saw Blind Owl. We saw Deadpool fighting on whatever looked like a air carrier at the time, aircraft carrier, which obviously turns out to be a helicarrier, which is cool, but we'll get to that. And the fight scenes, not all the jokes, obviously, thank Christ for that, but we saw pretty much every major sort of sequence. I knew what it was leading into.
Yeah, that's true, but like at the beginning sequence on the bridge from the original leaked test footage to the trailers, there was still shitloads more content in it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not just saying it was basically the trailer. I'm just saying that there wasn't any kind of new locations or anything. Not substantial enough, anyway. As soon as he got to him sat on the bridge, I was like, okay, they're getting to the thing. The car flips over. He pops out the window. But again, it's kind of my own fault because I've seen every Deadpool trailer so many fucking times.
But I liked it because I'd see it and be like, oh, it's getting to that bit.
I know, but I don't like that. I like to just I like when something new happens, and it kind of made those new parts like when when he went to the X Mansion and stuff like that. Yeah. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't think they'd show the fucking X Mansion.
No,
that was
so cool.
That was
just seeing
totally
Colossus eating some cereal.
Yeah.
Now have you eaten breakfast?
Most important meal of the day.
It's
just like, oh, shut up, Colossus, you big goof.
Colossus is amazing, but we'll get on to Colossus.
But that's the thing. I mean, but again, I think that my only reason for not liking how it was sort of put together, like my boss at work, he went to see Deadpool at midnight release because he knew I had tickets to go and see it the night afterwards, and he did it just so he could spite me, just so he knew that he'd seen it and I hadn't, and he could come into work. He obviously didn't spoil anything. I would have beat the shit out of him if he'd done that. But the fact is, he said, "You're not a real fan, then, are you?" That's every time I have a go at him now. He says, "Well, I saw Deadpool before you, so you're not a real fan." He has that over me forever now, and I fucking hate him for it.
But it means nothing.
I know, but the thing is, though, he was just saying, like, look, I'll say this: it was funny. I was doubled over laughing, but you'll get it a lot more than I will. Like, you'll understand a lot more of the stuff that's going on in it, a lot more than I will, which is the case, I think.
Me and my wife was in the cinema. I say my wife as if you don't know who she is, but
this girl that I knock about with.
Yeah, I just met her. But no, we were sat in the cinema. Loads of couples there, loads. And Zoe said, "She said, how many couples do you reckon are here because of that like
the
romantic
poster
they did?" I was like, probably quite a few, to be honest. It's quite funny. I said, "How many people are here? Do you reckon have read a fucking comic?"
4.
I'm not even joking, right? It was packed. There was probably maybe that I could see a handful of seats free. Probably less. And every single Easter eggy type joke, there was literally probably me, even Zoe laughed, and like say 5 other people.
Really?
Yeah, nobody else laughed. The obvious humour stuff, like when he gets shot up the ass, it's right on Main Street. Everyone's fucking wetting the pants. But the actual Deadpool-y stuff, nobody laughed.
Yeah, see, I had a different experience because I saw it. Like I said, I didn't see it on the day it came out. I saw it the day afterwards, but in the evening. And it certainly wasn't a full house, but there was a lot of people there. Yeah. I mean, this was sort of.
Again, I went the day before fucking Valentine's. So.
That's a good point. But I was there for with a date, so to speak. Well, not so to speak. It was.
I was going to say it was.
But yeah, she absolutely
loved it. I really enjoyed it.
she was pissing herself, but I also didn't have to sit there and explain why things were funny. Things were funny for being funny's sake, and we sort of talked about little things afterwards. But for the majority of the things, like when he's got like the little Wolverine Origins Deadpool figure, and he's like shit's on sideways, and there's a picture of that thing on its side, and I was just like, yeah, because it was shit. That's right.
Well, that's what really got me when he's
like, it was things like that. Everyone was fucking creasing.
Yeah. Because did you notice? I'm going to just sneak into my Easter egg thing just because you're on that.
Okay.
Did you notice the pictures in the beginning?
The pictures of,
like when it's like the slow mo and there's like that Angel song's playing. and it's like panning through the car.
Oh yeah. There was a picture on a guy's mobile phone. It's like a guy in a Green Lantern outfit.
No, it was Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern.
Oh shit, was it?
That's coming out of the wallet. There's a magazine, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds on, yeah.
Time magazine thingy.
Yeah.
On a coffee cup, Rob Liefeld, his name was on there. It was actually the guy who created Deadpool. But I was fucking wetting my pants at that Green Lantern picture. And there was me, and then there was a guy, like, and his wife, I imagine, who was sat, like, on Zoe's side. And me and him were fucking wetting our pants. And everyone else was sat there like, shh. Oh, I'm trying to watch this. But it's stuff like that, and it's just like, oh. And the
I wish you'd have come to see it with me, to be honest.
I wish we'd gone together. I think we should still go.
Do you know what? That's probably not a bad idea, but you'd have to do it up here because there's no way I'm seeing it in bloody Cannock or wherever. Like people just down there, they're not diverse enough.
Wherever the fuck are you on about? Cannock?
Wherever it is that you live, bloody Portsmouth or something.
Telford.
Exactly. I don't want to go and see Deadpool in Telford. I want to see it in London or Manchester.
We've
got an IMAX.
Mine's better. Ours has got
I'm pretty sure they're all the same, to be honest.
Yeah, it's exactly the same brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
but yeah, the experience, the atmosphere, everyone laughed. Yeah. Everyone. I don't think I've ever sat in a film like I've seen Marvel films and where there's a bit of a pokey, fun sort of joke or whatever, and you sort of go. I've never sort of fully laughed out loud in the cinema. I don't think ever until I saw this. I was properly doubling over at some of the jokes.
I smiled all the way through. There was a couple of jokes that were a little bit hit and miss, but I still found them humorous. But considering I literally just had to change my pants because I pissed myself at the last joke,
yeah, exactly.
They didn't have quite the same impact. And I did find that a lot of the stuff, like again, like you said, because I've seen it so many times, like when he puts his hand out and he's like, bet you're wondering why the red suit. It's like, so bad guys can't see me bleed.
Yeah,
it's like, I didn't laugh at that bit because
it's just like, you sit it so many times.
I smiled and I did not enjoy it. But that sequence though, when he's like, right, 12 bullets, let's get counting. It's like, that was amazing.
It was like when he sort of popped his head at the first time. He's like, "Hey guys," then he had to pop that down. Like because I wasn't expecting that. That made me laugh more because but I knew what was coming next. Yeah. But speaking of the human side of things, 3 funniest parts of the film. What were your 3 sort of like where you properly sort of, or at least the most memorable laughs that you had?
Off the top of my head, one of the funniest bits was when he grew his hand back. And he had the baby hand.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they did that accurately. It's not a case
hilarious.
Of we need to find the hand and stick it back on. It's just like, no, I just grow new body parts. That's how it works. Yeah. And it's just like, you need to leave now. Yeah, you need to go.
It's going to feel ginormous in this hand.
Yeah.
So
that was really good, yeah.
Well, as soon as his hand reaches puberty, I'm going to go after him. That bit was probably one of the funniest bits.
Yeah.
Oh god, what else? Where he tries to beat Colossus up, that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, and he's breaking his hands, and everyone was fucking crying when he like, because then he just went, "I've got one leg, it's all right."
In the boss. It was so funny. That bit was genuinely very funny. God, what else? There's so many genuinely funny bits. I can't.
Come on, one more to seal it off.
One more, just to get it off. Let's go with when Angel's tit fell out. And
Colossus is like, "Oh god, you need to." She's like, "Oh god, you're such a gentleman." Smack.
He's like, "God, you're a beautiful lady." That bit was pretty funny, actually. That really made me laugh. That did. I wasn't expecting a joke like that to come from Colossus in the middle of a fight. It was pretty funny. But it's one of them things that you always think, whether you say it out loud or what, you'll see a film where women, especially when they're fighting and they've got like really scantily clad clothing on, and you just think like, I wonder how they stop their tits from falling out.
Yeah, it's a good point though. Like, especially when that happens, you just sort of like, oh yeah, that would happen.
Yeah.
You know, she's been thrown around and stuff. Why has that not happened sooner?
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I will say, wasn't the funniest bit, but it was fucking good. Stan's cameo.
Oh yeah, when he's in the... I wasn't expecting him in there, considering it's a Fox film, to be honest.
I didn't know what his cameo was, but he had said this is his favourite cameo he's ever done.
It's a pretty good one.
And I can see why.
yeah, it's a pretty good one.
But your 3 favourite bits.
My 3... Well, this isn't favourite bits, this is just the parts that I
bits,
remember as being absolutely hilarious. Number 1 is... It's just after Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead have turned up on the bridge, and he's stabbed Francis to the bridge, and then Negasonic Teenage Warhead just sort of goes, he's getting away, and he turns around and he goes, and he's just got his hands on his face, and everyone fucking burst out laughing. And he just did that sort of double take like a bunch of times. That I was on the floor. That was great. Number 2, definitely, like the back and forth between Deadpool and Blind Al, brilliant. Love that. But it's as he's going off to bed and he walks past her and farts and goes hashtag drive-by. Honestly, I was fucking crying. He just said hashtag drive-by and just goes in his room. I was fucking dying at that. And lastly, the bit I think I laughed the fucking hardest at was right at the end when Vanessa takes his mask off.
Oh god, yeah.
And he's got that Hugh Jackman fucking thing on his face.
That was hilarious. Oh, how did I not remember that bit?
Because, like, when she took it off and, like, the sort of face... I thought it was just his face was just half fallen off and she was just going to stick it back down. And then the camera turned and it was Hugh Jackman's face. I was fucking crying. Because I wasn't expecting it at all. Oh, God, it was just... it proper made me double over that, dude.
I want to swap the Angel tidbit for that.
I was not expecting that at all. Like, if they'd shown something like that in the trailer, I would have been fucking gutted by that, because that was such a big laugh, and everyone fucking I wish you could have been there. The atmosphere in there was amazing.
It was. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was such a good atmosphere, and everyone was quiet. There was no dickheads or anything.
No, we didn't have any dickheads.
But
pleased for that.
I was just really surprised at the amount of people that... I mean, they might have got it and just not fucking reacted to it, but it didn't seem to be... A lot of people came to see it because, this is a new film that's pretty cool, and I'm a big Deadpool fan now. That's the kind of people that seem to be there. I mean, there's a guy there with a Deadpool t-shirt on, and you could just tell by looking at him, he doesn't even know who the fuck Wade Wilson is.
Yeah, I mean, that's if anything, then that's kind of another negative point I want to bring up, is the fact that because this is now being so popular and so well received, everyone is now going to be a fucking Deadpool expert.
Yeah.
And that's really going to wind me up, because now they're only going to be an expert of what happens in the film.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, they stayed reasonably faithful to the comic, but Deadpool hasn't got an origin. He doesn't remember, and he points out in one of the comics his origin depends on the writer.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that I've seen is in the Deadpool Classics, where he basically kills like his adopted parent. I think it's Deadpool Classics, I can't remember, but he's talking about his origin story. And he talks about that he killed his adopted parents, and they were, the stepdad or foster dad was Wade Wilson, so he took the name from him.
But then there's another one where the real Wade Wilson turns up, and says,
"Oh, is that he's like an army?"
Yeah. Wade he tried to kill him. Deadpool thought he'd killed him, but he had killed him and then taken his identity.
Right, yeah.
And then there's a lot of circumstances where he's not even sure if Wade Wilson is actually his name.
Yeah, but I do kind of like the fact that they've given him sort of a new origin story, or at least a film persona origin story.
It's one that makes more, because most of them always revolve around to his cancer. It's his last resort. They tell him this is going to cure him.
I'm a bit gutted they didn't go down the whole sort of Weapon X program side of things.
I know why they did. I can see why they didn't.
I think that it would just be too confusing for Origins. But at the same time, though, that is, regardless of however he thinks he took the name or whatever it is, it always comes down to Weapon X.
Yeah.
And the fact it was just sort of like a grotty basement, it's just sort of like, we don't know who's behind it, who's funding it, we don't know who we've got Ajax and Angel Dust, but I'm sure that they're not the ones running it, as they were saying that they were both test subjects. Yeah. So who's in charge?
So it could just be like a subsidiary of Weapon X.
Maybe, but again, we don't know who the sort of the big, like with the Marvel films, you've got sort of, you've got Thanos or you've got Hydra or something like that. Hydra would obviously be a good choice because Hydra are up to all kinds of crazy shit. Obviously, they can't do
Hydra.
no, they can't say Hydra, of course, but some sort of evil corporation like that that's got hands in mutates and the mutant world and all that sort of stuff. So, I don't think it's obviously not a perfect film. No film is a perfect film.
It's
but
not.
As far as a Fox film goes, touching on a superhero character, it's the best one they've done.
Hand on heart, right? Captain America: Winter Soldier is my favourite comic book film. I thought it was amazing. It was really good. Yeah. Very, very, very well done. Better than the Avengers, better than Ultron, better than any of the Iron Mans, better than the first Captain America, Thor, blah, 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 everything. This is better. I enjoyed this so much more.
Well, I think there's a difference between sort of, story progression and, sort of character building and stuff and just comedy. And, obviously that just had the comedy. There wasn't even, it wasn't like an all-out action flick or anything like that either.
See, that's what I like, though, because this...
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's not...
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, it just seemed to have. This could have gone really, really wrong. And if they
I was fully expecting it to go wrong.
Yeah. Well, Dan saw... I saw this on the Saturday, on the 13th. Dan saw it on the Thursday. Was it Thursday?
11th, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And Dan texted me and said, well, that was a waste of money. I wish I hadn't gone. And I was like, shut up. And he kept it up until Saturday. It was like midnight when I came out and I texted Dan. And I was like, what the fuck are you on about? It was amazing. He's like, yeah, fucking was. I was like, you're a dick. But I was really excited for it, but I was so fucking scared it was going to be turned.
Yeah.
This was it. This was the film that made not just Fox but Disney look at it and go, it doesn't have to be Iron Man, it doesn't have to be Spider-Man, we can get some characters that people don't really know and take a fucking gamble on it.
Yeah.
I know Guardians did it to a degree, but because of stuff like Disney Infinity and the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon and stuff on Disney XD, they can push these characters in so people know who they are. Deadpool, I mean, a lot of people have known him over the last, say, 20 years or so, but he's going to get very popular now. I mean, look at the game.
I mean, it's like the sort of, as weird as it sounds, and I'm pretty sure if you went and tried to explain to someone that, Iron Man, Thor, these sort of characters, they weren't popular. They were there, but they weren't Spider-Man, they weren't Fantastic Four, they weren't Captain America. And people are like, no, well, Iron Man's like the best one. It's like, no, it's only the best one because of Marvel Studios and because of Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
That's why he's now the best one. And Deadpool's the kind of the same thing, as soon as you get the right film for him, you get the right launch platform, you get the right casting, then all of a sudden, they're the next big thing. And now they'll be selling Deadpool fucking phone covers, and t-shirts for children and baby grows and all that sort of stuff, and he will never go away. And as much as I like that, it's sort of like it's the masses sort of accepting something just because they've seen a good interpretation of it or the correct interpretation of it. But there's hundreds and hundreds of other Marvel and DC characters who are just as interesting. But the fact is, until they've had a film made about it, well, that's it. No one knows about them.
I remember reading a massive rant about Deadpool. It was quite a few years ago. And it's basically saying, Deadpool's amazing, blah, blah, blah. Can't believe DC have ripped him off with Deathstroke and Arrow. It's like basically the same fucking character. It's like, no.
It's the other way around, actually.
And I was just like, I was reading it, I was just like, you're just embarrassing yourself.
I would have loved to have read that all the way through, because it would just continue to carry on, and then you just have one comment at the bottom just saying, just like Deathstroke first written 1962 or something, Deadpool 1964, like when they ripped it off, and it's like, oh, okay. Then everything I just said except swap Deathstroke to Deadpool, switch them around.
I meant the other way around. I was that angry, I was just typing and I put the wrong names.
Yeah, it just auto-corrected every time.
But that's what it's going to be like, and even Zoe got in an argument with somebody the other week because they were really excited to see the Deadpool sequel, and it's like, and she was, what? This is the first one? I'm like, no, have you not seen X-Men Origins? She's like, that's completely different. That's not the Deadpool film. It's not even fucking Deadpool. And she fully laid the shit into him. And
well done, Zoe.
Yeah, I was proud of it. And like I was saying, I mean, she didn't say this, but I said to her after. She was like, I could have used that. But Days of Future Past eliminated X-Men Origins and Last Stand from the timeline, so they don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
So it can't even be, even if it was intended to be, it can't be a sequel anymore.
Although, actually, the sort of self-referential sort of Fox films that Deadpool, you know, when he's been Colossus is dragging him away after he's broken all his hands and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's just saying, we go and see Professor Xavier, and he goes, which one, McAvoy or Stewart? There's so many timelines. Yeah. Like it's brilliant. Like it just for its own sort of self-deprecation, its own references to the sort of the superhero trope in films, which is kind of what I know we talked about, and I've got some things I want to touch on anyway. But we mentioned the fact that Deadpool is the perfect platform to bring other superheroes down a peg. Yeah. It's, you know, when they've become so sort of glorious, you slap a Marvel label on something, and all of a sudden it'll sell well because it's Marvel. What you need is someone to say, you can't do that every time. You need to do things. You need to fuck things up. You need to mix things up. You need to take a risk. And that's kind of what Deadpool is referencing to all the time. It's like, they're going to do the superhero landing. They're going to do the superhero landing. It's just like, oh, yeah, that just wouldn't work in real life. It fuck your knees up. And it's just sort of like, it's those perfect little pokes to say, you need to calm down. You're not all big and impressive anymore. You know, you've done your big films. Now you can, you know, look at the little guys again.
Yeah.
You know, you can make real, true... Like, I mean, the first time you see Negasonic Teenage Warhead, she does her first sort of power blast thing into Angel Dust, and then she's got the yellow X-Men outfit on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yes! You can put it in a film, and it does look fucking good. So don't give me any of that, we need to have all the X-Men in black leather suits bullshit. Put them in yellow. Yeah. That's what they belong in, for fuck's sake.
It was so it was touches like that though that was just really brought it out.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just they obviously didn't need to reference the fact of like, oh, nice outfit. Like, pity we all can't wear outfits like that or something.
Yeah,
it's just the fact that they put it in and it's just saying, no, that's what she's going to wear. Yeah, she's an X-Man. She wears a yellow X-Man outfit. There you go.
Yeah,
deal with it.
There was another thingy that I wanted to say. I can't remember what it was. Oh, the little Wolverine Origins figure.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my favourite, this is my prized possession, and then he picks up the Wham album.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to say that earlier and I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was so many additional references, and like you say, this is the perfect platform to proper give it to the studios and say, just lay off the fucking the big names. And I mean, I was reading when I came home, I played the Deadpool game because I was in the fucking mood, and I was reading a few comics, and there was a panel that made me laugh on one of the first pages, and he's with Domino, and he's basically doing like a recap of what happened last time, and he's like, so I hope you enjoy, readers. And then Domino's like, readers? Who are you talking to? He's like, this is a recap page. She's like, what? He's like, oh. Well, that they captured that so well.
Yeah, I mean the fourth wall was there. It was kicked through. It was beautiful.
Even the fucking pre-credit scene. Which is like, what are you doing? It's finished.
The post-credits, you mean?
The post-credit scene, sorry. Is that what you're doing? Go home. It's finished.
Well, it wasn't until afterwards. I was talking to someone about that who didn't stay, and I was just like, well, you have to stay.
You always stay.
Yeah, there's probably not going to be anything because it's Fox, but yeah, we'll stay just to be on the safe side. I'd rather stay and it not be anything there than turn out, you know.
You knew there was going to be one for Deadpool.
Well, that was I would make the sort of the reasonable assumption that there would be, but apparently that was it was a rip-off of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, he did a scene from it.
Did he?
It's like pretty much scene for fucking scene.
What do you mean?
He said one of the monologues from it. I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, word for word, you mean?
That word for word, so fucking...
Scene for scene would mean the like,
entire
part
film
of the film.
Ferris
Yeah.
Bueller's Director's cut.
Deadpool's Day Off. Oh, God, that was amazing. Yeah, but I've never seen the end of, like, the very, very end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But yeah, he's like in the dressing gown and the same thing. But obviously that brings up Cable.
Yeah.
And that brought something to my mind, which I wanted to discuss with yourself, as to it's a given. Even if they were taking a punt on that credit scene and just said, yeah, there'll be another one, we'll probably put Cable in it. I mean, I flipped out when he said Cable, because I was just like, well, they know who Cable is, they know he's important, brilliant, put him in.
Again,
but
me and that guy, the only people that reacted.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's tragic. But it brought up the fact of, for the next one, and there will be a next one.
It's already been greenlit, hasn't it?
Absolutely, it has to have been. I mean, it's got like the biggest R-rating budget opening for a film.
Yeah.
It's like broken the record. So, what do you expect? But there's certain characters that I would like to see from Deadpool's personal world. There's like, I mean, again, I've sort of been reading quite a few Deadpool comics. So things like the Ghost of Ben Franklin, Agent Preston. Obviously, she's Shield though, so
nah, she ain't coming in.
You maybe, but maybe the robot Preston or something. I don't know. Bob obviously made an appearance. So more Bob for sure, even if it's just punching him in the face.
They could do it.
Well, they put him in one scene, and then he just comes back in with he's still got a black eye or something. But also Schickler. I'd love to see Schickler. So if Vanessa's actually a form of Schickler, love that. And Death would be brilliant. You've got to have Death.
I'd like to see Death in it.
Lady Death, sorry.
Well, Lady Death. But they'd have to bring in like the whole fascination with him and stuff.
I guess, but I mean, all you need to do is just have him die, like fully die. Like he gets his head, he swallows a grenade or something and explodes, and then he goes into Death's realm, and then they have a big conversation and they end up fucking, and then she gives him his life back, and then he goes and pieces himself back together again. That's the only thing you need to do. It's like a cutscene, like in Conker's Bad Fur Day when you get killed the first time and you need Death. Exactly like that.
I imagine if they cut in Greg as well.
And he's got that little whiny voice.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Oh, that would be good. But yeah, that's all you need to do, and then that's it. Reference done.
They should sign a deal with Rare, right? And then he dies, and then it's video game Deadpool meeting Greg.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be ace. My prediction, although it's not really a prediction because it was more of a sighting. Did you see a certain mutant in the when Wade was being taken into the lab, not the underground place?
Oh, the one with the spikes.
Yes.
Now, see, I did see that. It's obviously been in the trailers and stuff as well. Now, I can only imagine it's either Spike from X-Men Evolution, or what's her name? Marrow or something? Yeah, one of the Morlocks.
Well, my prediction is it's definitely Marrow.
Yeah.
Because Reynolds is pushing for an X-Force movie.
Yeah.
And Marrow has recently been a X-Force member.
Right.
So there's 2 members already.
Okay.
And she was in this film. And it's definitely a woman, you can tell from the build. It's not Spike. It's definitely not Spike.
Well, Spike was in... Plus he was in X-Men 3 as well, wasn't he? Was that Spike, or was that some incarnation of somebody else that I'm not aware of?
I don't think it was Spike. It possibly could have been.
He was covered in like spines rather. You couldn't like fire those spikes out, could he?
No,
he
just popped them out like a porcupine.
Yeah.
It was shit. God, that old movie was awful.
Yeah, but I mean, you could even bring in like because the game is obviously going to be quite popular now. You could bring in Harklight or what's his name? What's the big guy? Blockbuster?
Yeah. No.
Fucking... that's DC, isn't it?
Shit.
The big guy, anyway. I can't remember what his name is. But because people would be aware as to who they are if they've gone out and bought the game, which is they probably will have done if they like the film.
Now.
Yeah. So you could even just throw in a couple of those, or fuck it. What was the Mr. Sinister? Throw him in, boom, sorted.
If they bring Sinister into it, fuck me, I will be happy.
Well, you'd have to sort of launch him. It would have to be like Sinister would be. Here we go. Okay, 15th of February 2016. Mr. Sinister is going to be the villain in the X-Men and Deadpool crossover movie. Boom, sorted.
Really?
I'm going to go with it. He's a pretty big bad guy.
He is, but it's more minionated than. I wouldn't say it's going to take Deadpool and the X-Men to take out Sinister on his own.
Well, I know, but you wouldn't need Deadpool for Magneto, and that's the only real sort of bad guy that the X-Men usually have to deal with.
It's true. Well, no, they've got Apocalypse now. Ooh.
Yeah, I know, but once he's done, that's it, he's out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
So once he's dead, that's it.
Unless, because this is the last one, the X-Men are going to die.
Oh, fucking fingers crossed. No, but I think Wolverine or something like that.
I want to see a Hugh Jackman cameo.
Other than face paints and pictures and stuff.
A proper cameo in the yellow and tan suit.
No, I want to see Hugh Jackman in Deadpool as Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, just
walking on set, just going like, Ryan, what are you doing? Like, you've got to stop calling me, or just something like that, or they just burst into his trailer or something. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, not this again! I'm not doing it, for God's sake!
Oh, that should be pretty good.
Yeah, I think there'll be. I reckon you're probably going to get more likely of a Hugh Jackman as Hugh Jackman cameo rather than Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in yellow spandex. Or unless he's again, but he'd have to be self-aware, just going, this costume is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't mean like as in for the whole film, literally just as a scene.
Yeah, in that sort of first class kind of go fuck yourself kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
usually like full suit or something like that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of predictions, though, as I mentioned earlier, I've had to listen to some of our older podcasts to see when we were talking about Deadpool to see if there's any parts of it that we actually got right.
It came out.
But it did come out. That was right. Yeah. But this all sort of came off the back of the leaked test footage that came out years ago, 2014, if not a bit sooner. Sorry, a bit earlier. But although we never actually sat down and said what do we think is going to happen in Deadpool, which we have done for Batman and all that sort of stuff, we've done trailer breakdowns and stuff. We didn't do that for this. We did sort of have a bit of a chat about it on a few different episodes. So October 2014, episode 29. Ryan Reynolds still wasn't cast as Deadpool at this point, but he did voice the Blur teaser trailer leaked thing.
Well, he did the mocap for it as well, didn't he?
Yeah. So we assumed, we said pretty much, if he's doing it at this point, he's into it, that means it has to be him. So we were fairly confident at that point that Ryan Reynolds would be cast as Deadpool. You said that you'd love to see it if they referenced in a sort of, spiteful, or maybe not spiteful, but they made some kind of a negative reference to the Deadpool from Wolverine Origins, which they did. You again quoted saying, "I can't see them having a massive budget, which means that if they make it the way the fans want it, they could do so without losing too much money if it doesn't work." Which is exactly what they did. They did it on a relatively low budget. They again self-referenced the fact that they didn't have a massive budget, which is why they only had 2 X-Men. But the fact is that they've already broken box office hits, which means that the next one is obviously going to be jam-packed full of goodies.
Yeah.
I actually called at that time, for some reason, The Incredibles 2 being made by Pixar, which is happening now. There we go. I also came up with a new word, transdigression, which I'm going to kick fund at as well. Hashtag kick fund transdigression for whatever reason.
Down 2015,
yeah,
2016,
yeah. And we should probably also take this time, as it's been a while, to mention GameSeek, who I believe are Europe's #1 online retailer.
Oh my god!
Now that is an old reference,
Fucking
my
hell.
lord. Something we used to literally say in every fucking podcast.
Well, considering we are affiliated with GameSeek, UK and Europe's #1 online video game retailer, we don't mention them enough. Nor do we mention
Zavvi or 365 Games.
365 Games.
Yeah. But there we go. That's our quota done for the next year or so, I suppose.
Yeah, we've got them all in one, so...
Yeah. Moving on to February 2015, episode 50. I went on talking. Well, I was talking about Gina Carano, who plays Angel Dust, and basically saying that I confirmed her as being Angel Dust, who's a Morlock, who, again, she's just referred to as Angel, and she's certainly not referred to as a Morlock. But as she is a Morlock, the fact of we're seeing Marrow obviously means that Morlocks exist, but they're not called Morlocks, maybe, or they're just at least not referred to. Fun fact, though, Gina Carano, she was also Natasha from Red Alert 3, and she was Crush in American Gladiators. There you go.
Wow! I cared slightly about one of those facts. Gladiators!
Yeah, American Gladiators, though, so it'd probably been cheerleaders and fireworks and stuff. Oh, that was terrible, don't do that. Vanessa, as well, from Deadpool, as we know as Dr. Thompson from Gotham.
We do. I knew she looked familiar.
Yeah, so now you've seen Dr. Thompson's boobies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. She's also the voice of Gideon in Flash and Legends of Tomorrow.
No way.
Yep, there you go.
Wow.
She's the voice of Gideon.
She's
all over the shop.
Whore.
She is. She's all over the bloody shop. And then we did briefly touch on predictions for characters that we'd like to see or think we may appear. Cable, obviously, being yours first one, which is the most obvious, but at least we know that's going to come at some point. Wolverine and the Punisher. So obviously Punisher, we were just like, well, that's not going to happen, but it would be good.
Hugh Jackman was in it, kind of.
Kind
I'm
of
allowing it.
Yeah, so I'll give you Wolverine.
At least we knew that Wolverine.
Yeah. But if he wasn't going to be the character, it'd certainly be a reference of some kind. There was a bunch of those, so yeah, you can have that. And I said any of the X-Men, so I was right on two.
Fuck off, you're not having that.
With all the 10,000 X-Men, I knew one of them would have to be in there somewhere. But the fact is, though, this is a Deadpool film. We didn't even know if they wanted to sort of bring it into the X-Men universe.
Yeah, but
so it wasn't until that.
He was already technically right because Deadpool has been an X-Man.
Yeah, I know, but he wasn't going to be launched as an X-Man. Otherwise, he would have been in an X-Men film, wouldn't he? You big tit. So I was right about that, hooray.
Lego Deadpool.
Yeah, and then we went on in episode 55, which is March 2015. There was only one reference we made to that, and it was the episode when they'd actually released the costume, the first pictures of the costume.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have much to talk about, other than the fact that it's obviously brilliant. But we didn't make any predictions, other than the fact that I said that if it's going to be a CGI mask, we need to see it, it'll make it funnier.
Yeah.
So whenever he's doing expressions and stuff, if you CG the mask, then we need to see those expressions. And like I say, that thing on the bridge when he turned around and went, ah! Like, that was all CG in the mask, and it made it fucking hilarious. So I'm glad they did that, so well done for that. But I think the only good part about that episode was actually the intro, which I think is still my favourite intro to date. So you said, join my man, blah, blah, blah. Who was asked by an old man, why do youngsters have these iPhones? Having a phone for your eyes is pointless. To which you explained, an iPhone isn't for your eye, it's for a cunt.
I remember that one now.
Yeah, that proper made me laugh, that did. So
one of the few times I've used the C word as well.
I know, right, and that's what kind of took me off guard about it. I'm pretty sure it did at the time as well. But a couple of other fun facts, though, for you. Bob, Hydra Bob, who obviously can't be called Hydra Bob because Hydra doesn't exist there. Hydra Bob was the actor who played him he's a stunt double who's been on so many films and fucking things you wouldn't believe, but he's been a stunt double on Flash, Arrow, Fringe, he's been in Man of Steel, Cabin in the Woods, Elysium, Godzilla, Watchmen. He's been in a stunt coordinator or a stunt double on a bunch of films. So I'm glad that he got a little reference like that for the amount of shit kicking he must have had to have gone through, just been thrown downstairs and God knows what else. And also TJ Miller, who plays Weasel. Do you remember Cloverfield? Film Cloverfield, the monster?
I do, but I couldn't remember enough.
Well, he is Hud, who's the guy filming it.
No way.
The whole thing. And then, when he gets eaten at the end,
Yeah.
and he just sort of splats in front of the camera, that's it. Yeah, that's him.
Wow. He's
And-
pretty famous, though.
Yeah, more importantly to you, he was the voice of Fred in Big Hero 6.
He was.
He was.
Oh, speaking of, the writer of Big Hero 6 actually died last week.
Oh, good.
Yeah. They're all going.
Well, there you go. Bloody sad props to his family as well. So that was sort of things we kind of called. But like I say, we didn't go into it in detail, so it's better to look back on things like Batman vs Superman after we've seen that and Civil War and stuff to see what we got right. So we'll be doing that at some point. Also, I think it's probably worth having a look through some of the older ones to see if there's anything in general that we called. So, sort of random. Think of the sort of the Shenmue 3 kind of thing. That kind of came out of the blue, but we nailed it.
Or if you'd rather save us the pain and torture listening to it, if you guys want to listen to it instead, just get back to us.
I wouldn't recommend it.
That would be great. Quality listening.
It's a lot of hours of a lot of bullshit, to be honest. But if you want to, you're more than welcome to.
I highly recommend episode 1.
Don't. I think it's recorded on the phone.
I think you was on your phone.
I was on Skype on my phone. What a joke that was.
God.
But anyway, there's a few other things about Deadpool that I wanted to talk about. One of the things that I mentioned earlier, there was a helicarrier in it.
It was. The very final scene.
That took me off guard, because it's not an obvious helicarrier. It's certainly not a new Marvel helicarrier with the big bloody giant rotors and stuff, but it's a traditional comic book accurate helicarrier. Yeah. Now, because Marvel Studios has S.H.I.E.L.D. as a property, I don't know how they got away with this, because if they've just sort of found a loophole which says, well, we can have vehicles and stuff, they're not covered by the license. Yeah. Then they've just put it in there and then if someone says, is that a helicarrier? They can just say, no.
Don't know what it is.
It's just
it was there when we filmed.
It's just a big futuristic kind of aircraft carrier. That's it. It's definitely not a helicarrier, except it is.
It totally is.
It definitely is.
But it's not if anyone asks.
yeah. But it's obviously not a helicarrier from any of the Marvel films. No. This is a proper, and I don't like the design of the comic book helicarriers. If I'm honest, I prefer the Marvel film version of it. But as soon as I saw those like rotary engines at the back, I was just like, what? But I couldn't look at anyone and just say, is that a helicarrier? Because they'd just go, shh, or they'd say, what are you on about? But it was all happening so fast. I was just like, I'm pretty sure it is.
It definitely was.
So I like the fact that they've thrown that in there. What about in general? I mean, we've talked about the sort of the comedy and the action and stuff. Well, not necessarily the action. Is there any specific fights or action scenes that you particularly liked?
I really liked the opening action scene. It was very, 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 very well done. Which else? The final scene was pretty good. And I'm totally honest, for a Deadpool film, it was quite light on the action. When it was going, it went on and it did it, and then it'd kind of like go back onto something else, and then back onto the action, which I liked. Even though there was a lot of backwards and forwards, it flowed.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the editing for the sort of the first hour or so was because it was flashbacks and then flashbacks within flashbacks. It was still easy to follow though. So although there was a lot of back and forth, and I was just like, well, they're still on the bridge. I kind of want to see how that's turning out. They were still talking about relevant or interesting things. Yeah. So although I'm not particularly a fan of that kind of style. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the sort of Quentin Tarantino, all sort of filmed and shown out of context, and out of order sort of thing.
But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Exactly, it just kind of you lose the mood and everything. So yeah, I don't mind that.
But this worked well.
Yeah.
Yours?
Again, the bridge, like when he sort of drops into the car and then that guy just gets flung out of the car and splats on that sign. That I was just like, oh god, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, the guy.
That's a proper full-on splat onto that sign.
You just reel it from the guy who gets his head chopped off. And then as soon as you go, oh, then that guy gets splattered. And you're like, oh.
But yeah, I think you're right in the sense of it was fairly light on the action. The only fight scene that I thought, well, this is fucking cool, was Colossus against Angel.
Well, no, I thought it was all cool.
It was just sort of standard, action-y parlance sort of stuff. Like, it's just like, what's your favourite fight scene in Guardians of the Galaxy or, the Avengers or Age of Ultron or something like that? There'll always be somewhere you're just like, oh, it's like, when fucking, what's his name? Hulk picks up Loki and slams him around, or, when Hawkeye manages to nail that guy with a thing in the back of the head.
Nobody's favourite scene's got Hawkeye in.
I was throwing in a Hawkeye reference to see if he'd say anything. But, there's certain standout points in it, and it was just all sort of very samey. It was a bit of gunplay. He went and got all the guns in his house and then forgot them. And as funny as that is, he just sort of like, oh, so they're not going to have a big shootout or anything. Fuck.
But I liked that. I thought it was funny.
I just wanted a big sort of blowout, you know. But the thing is, though, again, it was sort of all the action sequences that were of interest. Like, you know, when he sort of when they get to that thing and then he cuts that guy's head off and kicks it into the other guy's head. I've seen all that. I've seen it in the trailers, you know.
Another funny bit. When he's when he's got Ajax and he's about to kill him, and Colossus is like, Deadpool. It's like, there are 3 important moments in your life when you can choose to be a hero. Just carry on, like, what did you do? You take it too hard.
That was perfect.
I saw it coming a mile off, but
I know, yeah, but it was just sort of like. But it's one of them things where it's just sort of like, no, you have to shoot him. You have, if you let him go after a hero speech, you've ruined it.
That bit would have ruined it, but that bit I would have been, if he'd have let him live, I would have been, they were so close.
I would have genuinely been gutted if he hadn't just shot him in front of him, just going, what? Yeah. It's what I do. I'm not an X-Man, fuck off.
We've been through this, Colossus. But no, it was, I can't really find, the only fault I've got is I've got to wait too long to see it again and a sequel, but is the ending was too perfect, where she loved him no matter what.
That's why I want Vanessa to be Schickler, and she just turns into this horrific demon thing.
Yeah.
That's why she was, you know, working in a strip joint, and she was all fucked up and crazy, and you know, it's because she's, you know, this sort of demon queen.
Well, do you know that's
and
actually,
she wants to...
you know, when they were like, well, I didn't even have a house, I lived in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a
box,
reference to Monty Python.
Is it?
It's a Monty Python sketch where there's some my friends and they always have to outdo each other who has the worst life.
That's pretty clever then, I like that.
There's a lot of references like that.
Yeah.
But it was a good ending, and it wasn't shit, and I didn't hate it. It was just like, because we just had that scene where Colossus is telling Deadpool he can be a hero. He's got these powers. He can be a hero. He can be an X-Man. He can save the world. And then he just shoots that guy. It's just like, what? And then you have that, and he takes the mask. She takes his mask off, and then they shoot Jackman. And then she takes that mask off, and the staple was still on his chin. It was fucking amazing. But then she's just like, I don't care. I still love you. And it's like, no.
Well, there's one thing actually. You know when he gets shot, like through his arm.
Yeah.
Like that didn't heal anywhere near as quick as I was expecting it to. Like I just don't think his healing forms, like, because, like, you know, when Colossus is dragging him away and he sort of clicks his wrist back into place and clicks his leg back into place to cut off his other hand. That's what I expect. You know, it's already started healing before the bullets pass through, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, you see Wolverine. Like, I was watching. What was I watching? X-Men X2 the other day.
Yeah.
And Wolverine gets shot in the head by a police officer. He drops to the floor, and it takes like a good 3 or 4 minutes for his skin to push the bullet out.
Well,
it's just like, no. They just bounce off.
No, because he still gets cut up and shit. It's just
yeah. But how much skin is between? How thick is the skin between like the outside of the skin and his adamantium skull? Like millimeters. It would have just pinged straight off, like shooting a tank.
You still got, like, it's not like a solid piece, is it?
As it's stuck in his head,
where he got shot, but like he can get shot in the arms and stuff. The head.
Oh no! But I mean, if you get shot in the stomach, you know, it's got to find its way out. Yeah. But I mean, it should have just bounced off, and he was going, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Well, it was more effect, wasn't it? That bit was.
I know, but that's what really annoyed me. It's like that's not how his powers work. Do you not know this character at all?
Well, Deadpool's healing is better than Wolverine's.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So if he can, you know, if Wolverine can get like a shotgun to the stomach and it just sort of goes and just heals itself back up again. A shot through the arm. As he was looking through, I was expecting it just to close almost immediately.
Yeah. Again, I think it's more effect, like comedy effect, than anything else, because that took however long to heal, and then by the time he got off that fucking cart with all the rubbish and got back home, he'd already grown a hand.
Yeah, I suppose.
So I think it's more comedy effect than anything else. Like when he got shot in the arse.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
probably
like
just me
hobbling
nitpicking,
off.
isn't it?
Um,
Yeah, I still can't fault it at all.
it's
Really,
it's
for
the
it.
same as saying when Superman takes off, like when he just saves somebody and he puts him on the floor and he's just like gives him a salute and then flies off. The force that would be there would knock
they'd all
flying.
they'd all get
Yeah.
pulled up after him. Yeah,
So, but nobody said anything.
well, they should do. That's my job.
Yeah, we haven't said it until just. Well, no, I am. You know what, Dan? I'm going to give it a score,
Oh, go on.
and I'm going to give it a 10.
I'm going to say it's a 9, an absolute solid
Fucking
9.
hell, that's the highest you've ever given anything.
I think it is, because there's usually room for improvement, but this hasn't got much.
Again, as we reiterate, it's not perfect, and it's not
Yeah.
perfect, but it's as close to perfect I think you can get for a film on very small budget, a lot of faith more than anything,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
just a general love for, like, Reynolds was born to play Deadpool. We'd said, I'm not sure if we'd said it on a podcast or whether we were just talking, but we'd said if they went a CGI route, like a completely animated film, Nolan North would have been good as Deadpool.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I actually think Reynolds is better than Nolan North now. I'll be totally honest.
Yeah, you've got a good point. I mean, it's like, if you're going to make it all CGI Batman, who do you want to voice it?
Kevin Conroy.
Exactly. You sort of get known for the roles. So if you're a good VO artist, then VO is your strong point.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's much you could have done to improve it. The only thing I would like to have seen I would have liked an explanation as to who the company. If you want to sort of look at it from a sort of like Resident Evil Umbrella Corp
Apple.
sort of thing. Yeah, it's Apple. Yeah. I wanted to see as to who the bad guys really were, because those bad guys, it was just sort of, that's one thing I don't get actually. Francis, right, is Ajax. They say he's got like super reflexes, and he's stronger than normal, I assume, because he could boot people across the into cars and stuff. But Deadpool stabbed him through the chest, like through concrete, so that was like fully in there, and yet he managed to get up and walk away from it.
Well,
and then you just see it stitched up. So did he also have healing powers? That wasn't
I
explained.
don't know. He hasn't got healing powers. Well, that I know of. I'm pretty sure Ajax hasn't got healing powers. But because of his, I was actually talking about this today. Because of his inability to feel pain, I don't know if it's a case of, like you could be sat there and you're like, "Oh, my leg's fucking wet." And you're like, "Oh shit, I've cut my leg," and you haven't even fucking noticed. I don't know if it's like that, and he can get away because he doesn't hurt him, so he can just walk off and then get patched up.
I guess, but I mean that was like through a lung at least.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if you did some fucking serious damage, like it probably didn't go through his lung because he.
That was straight through his chest. Guess what's in the chest? Your lungs.
But there's a chance he could have fucking missed. Because I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not 100%, but I'm very sure he hasn't got a healing factor, and he does mention in the film as well that he wishes he healed like Deadpool.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it was a bit of a sort of, wait a minute, how have you got back up and just walked away from that? That's a bit odd. But overall, I mean, the soundtrack was great. I think just the whole Wham thing.
Yeah.
Again, it just sort of added to the comedy. It's just a brilliant juxtaposition of the violence and carnage.
I also like how his phone was cracked as well. I know that's a really stupid point, but when he got out, he hadn't got this pristine, and it wasn't like, oh, he's got an iPhone. It was like no branding or anything. It was just a phone with a cracked screen playing Wham.
Yeah.
It's just like, perfect. So, I've got nothing else, if I'm honest. I massively enjoyed it.
I could not have been happier with it. I think that to take a punt on a new IP that they've fucked up before, for them to say, yep, we fucked up, we'll have another go though, although we're not going to commit too much to it. I think that this is 10 times better than what I was expecting. I did not think that they could pull it out as they have done. And I mean, although I've got my little niggly problems, I'll always have those. And I don't think it takes away from the film at all.
I imagine you have
I cannot wait for another
Star
one.
Trek.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you wouldn't believe.
Dan loves Star Trek.
Yeah. I mean, there's things that's just sort of like, that doesn't make any sense. It's just like that. How, in your crazy world, how can that work? Yeah. And it's things that bother me. It's things like that bother me for hours on end.
Anyway, I've given it a 10 out of 10. Dan has given it a 9 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, it's in cinemas now. Highly recommend it. And if you haven't played it, get the game. It's just been re-released on PS4 and Xbox One, and I imagine... No, it's already out on PC because it's the PC version. But get it on PC anyway. It'll be on a Steam sale, I imagine.
Yeah.
Very good.
Although if you buy it now because of the film, then you are simply jumping on the bandwagon. So as long as you're buying it with that fully aware, you're fully aware of that, then fine. I bought it when it came out, so fuck you. Because I love Deadpool.
Deadpool has gone back up. He always filtered between. He was always even the top one, the second one, and the third one, and he always filters up and down. He's gone back to number one. It's got to be said.
Yeah. In terms of sort of comic book films and stuff, as we are at the moment, I'd say this is probably my favourite one since Guardians.
This is genuinely my favourite comic book film.
I think that there's so much comedy in it. Like, if you look at what actually happens in the story, there's little to nothing really. But the fact is that it's so caught up with everything else that you just don't care. That's another
point, though, is the fact that this is Deadpool. The fact that there's a story anyway.
Well, no, that's what I mean. That's why things like, you know, the whole sort of Schickler thing, like where he's caught up in a war between like vampires and monsters or something. It's really interesting, and it like the whole thing with Preston and, like, you know, the ghost of Benjamin Franklin and the Warlock, like all that stuff is really interesting and really cool. And and then it's just sort of like, here's a bad guy, here's a bad woman, she gets beaten up by Colossus, he kills him, he saves the girl. It's nothing inspired in terms of story. It's everything else. It's the acting, it's the lighting, the editing, everything else carries it along to be a great film. And plus, like you said before, it's the hype that you know the fans have put into it. It's the effort that the writers and Ryan Reynolds himself and the director and everything has pushed this into actually making it as a film and making it a fan film, and it's fucking incredible. And this is why you should take risks. You're absolutely right on that.
If you could pull it off like they have done with this, and they have in spades, then it's just basically a starting point. And if this is how good the starting point is, shit me.
Well, true, but you know, people said the same thing about Iron Man, didn't they? And then, don't get me wrong, it spawned a lot of other good films, but the Iron Man films got progressively worse.
I'll be totally honest. I think if it gets to the point where, especially because of the last few films Fox has released being utter turd, I think if Reynolds sits there and goes, no, this ain't right.
I'd like to think that he's in a position of sort of power with it, and if, you know, the studios start getting involved and say, well, actually we can get this actor and this actor, and if he just goes, no, that's not going to work, I'd like to think that he has the sort of power to say, this is out of, you know, this isn't what we were supposed to be doing. We had something good, now you're ruining it.
This is basically like Fox has been trailing behind Disney and even Warner Brothers with
this is the first step up, absolutely.
And they've overtaken even Disney at this moment. Obviously, depending on how good Batman vs Superman is, it might give Warner.
Yeah, that may blow all of them out of the fucking water. We just don't know at this point.
But Deadpool's in a very good position to. Obviously, it's a different, as the slogan for it is, this is a different kind of superhero film.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even if it was just its own little thing, it would still be fine. It wouldn't be as bad or as good as anything else. It would just be its own separate thing, and it would only be held accountable to its own films. You know, but you know, I mean, we may get Batman vs Superman, and that might be amazing. Then you get Civil War, which may be the best thing we've ever seen.
Yeah, it might blow Deadpool, fucking Batman, all the other comic book films completely out of the water. Or Deadpool could still be the best one.
Absolutely.
And I really hope it is, because I don't want the amount of fucking hype that's gone on over the last few months, and you know, I really want to watch it again just talking about it. I don't want it to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Deadpool what? Oh shit! Yeah, there's a fucking Deadpool film.
Another Deadpool film. Oh god, not another Deadpool film.
Yeah, I don't want it to get to that point.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have rambled on long and hard.
Well, we knew it was going to be a big one this week.
We did. That was a big meal.
Yeah. But also, though, one thing I do want to say. What? What?
It's usually me that carry on.
What?
I don't actually know what one of them.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Shut up.
Well, no, one thing that, because of the whole, there's going to be cable in the next one, one suggestion that we've seen, we love the idea of, and that is to have Stephen Lang as Deadpool. Now, people would remember him as the sort of general baddie in Avatar. Now, with the scars, with the hair, with the gruff voice, with the face, you add that onto, a 6'6", half cyborg Superman, you've got Cable. This man needs to be Cable.
The only issue I've got, and he's kind of proved me wrong already with the picture he tweeted yesterday, he's 63.
Yeah.
He can't get much fucking... He needs to be Affleck big.
True, but, you put him in the armour and everything.
I mean, yeah, they could do it. There's ways around it. Worst to worst, they could go the Captain America route and just impose his head onto Ben Affleck.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah.
But just off the face, he's fucking perfect.
What about Lou Ferrigno?
Well,
he's massive.
Off the... it's not going to be Lou Ferrigno.
Might be. You throw a robot arm on him, boom.
You've just got Lou Ferrigno with a robot arm.
Yeah.
One of the 3 choices Deadpool gives you on the post-credits scene. Obviously, you got Keira Knightley.
Of course.
Dolph Lundgren. And Mel Gibson.
Do you know what? Dolph Lundgren.
Gungam. Jar Jar's cousin.
No, Dolph Lundgren. I could kind of see him.
No way.
I don't think he's serious. I don't think he can speak clearly enough.
But
yeah, he's got the look though.
He's too big.
You could James Earl Jones it and just dub over it.
He's too big. And I think he's older than fucking Stephen.
No, I'm voting Stephen Lang. Hashtag Stephen Lang.
The other choice was Mel Gibson. And I'll be totally
I don't think anyone wants anything to do with Mel Gibson anymore.
He's the forerunner.
Oh, Christ. No, please.
And I can see it. I think he could do a good job.
No.
But I don't think he'd do as good of a job as it'd need to be.
No, I don't think so.
So far, Stephen Lang for me. We tweeted, we did a picture yesterday, which we tweeted to Ryan Reynolds and Stephen Lang. So if you guys want to head over to the Twitter, which is @PodcastVPlayer, if you want to go retweet it for us, so
yeah, we try and build up some hype
so
for
we
it.
can actually fucking see it. And speaking of social shit, we're now on Instagram.
For some reason,
that's where all the cool kids are.
No,
Ryan Reynolds is on there.
we're not cool kids.
But we need to be. This is why we fail at life.
2016, year do.
So, if you are on Instagram, if you're a cool kid, why don't you follow us and just type in Podcast versus Player and you'll find us, and there's loads of cool stuff on there. There's even a picture of Dan in a suit. Yeah. And it's
the same one that's on the website.
And we Instagrammed a picture of some cucumbers. So, there's food on there. Everyone's putting pictures of food.
Yeah, I don't think it's wrapped in a shelf is kind of the same thing as some beautifully presented quiche noir or something.
Quiche noir? Is that like a detective?
I think I just made that up. Oh, there you go. There's another comic book series for you. Quiche noir. Hashtag kick fun of quiche noir. I love that name. That's a fucking... And honestly, a food detective.
Is what
a deli detective.
Is he? Quiche isn't a deli, is it? Quiche is
it's like it's like a little cheesecake thing, but you have it with salad and stuff.
But isn't a deli like meats and stuff?
No, deli's like salad and
is it?
Meats and cold stuff. Yeah, it's like cold food.
I'll take
cold foodtion.
That's his name.
Sorted. No. Quiche noir is the name.
No, that's the name of the thing. But his name.
No. The guy's name, the detective, is Quiche Noir, right?
Oh.
And he works for the Cold Fusion Detective Agency.
I thought you said Carl. I thought you said Carl Fusion.
Carl Fusion. No, that's my wrestling name.
You know what my wrestling name is?
What?
Blade Light.
Blade Light.
Hashtag Blade Light. Anyway, what's going up on the channel? I'll tell you what's going up on the channel, Dan. Borderlands 2.
Oh yeah, of
we haven't
course.
played any for a bit. Some Golden Eye Sauce. Maybe some Psychonauts. We don't know.
I've got stuck, so probably
How
not.
you got stuck, Dan? It's 10 years old.
I know, but it's like bloody. It's double fine, man. They just keep screwing me over. Like, no, not even close. I'm still stuck on the same fucking part. I'm about 20 minutes in, but I've been 20 minutes in for about 6 hours.
The bit that I got you through.
No, it's after that. Now I'm stuck in a garage, and I'm not even going to go into it because I still don't know where I am, and it's still annoying me, and I won't play it because it's annoying me.
Well, we're definitely going to do some Borderlands 2. As Dan very finally and very nicely got me the deluxe edition thing.
Yeah.
Because he's a nice guy. And if you follow us on Instagram and Twitter, he might buy you again. He won't.
Yeah, disclaimer. Put a disclaimer in there.
I'll go for us to play a Hustle League, right? I'm not buying anybody any games. Speaking of games, this podcast is sponsored by GameSeek. The European UK.
Aren't they Europe's #1 retailer for online games and stuff?
And the UK.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Cool. Anyway, Borderlands 2, Golden Eye Sauce, whatever the fucking else. Podcast versus player show. Some more, can you believe it? We've actually got stuff planned that we're actually going to do because 2016
yeah,
we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, we'll do some specials on Batman vs Superman, Punisher season,
Daredevil,
Punisher season 2 with Daredevil in it. Deadpool. Yeah, a blind Deadpool. That'd be amazing. Just swinging swords around. Ah!
Sorry, I could just see it. That'd be amazing. Anyway,
I know, right?
Let's go. We got
youtube.com/podcast-player. Go there.
Yeah, podcastplayer.com. .co.uk, or you can email us playervpodcast@gmail.com. You can go on Twitter, which is @podcastvplayer, and Instagram podcast versus player. We've got them all done. Bye.
Yeah, clean it.